very recently, an educator's response to new normal was, things may never go back to normal. You may need to create a new normal, and that's okay. For me, my new normal is to continue getting used to the new normal. That's how it is. My name is Simran Balani. I'm the zonal head with ECDF, and I warmly welcome each one of you, the participants, my esteemed panelists. And this evening, we are going to talk about the year that has gone. Human being on this earth, you will say, oh my God, talk about this year. But talk to an educationist. They will have a different story to tell. And they can talk like for hours and hours of what happened, what they did. And we thought, why not bring them on a platform together and have a talk show and talk about how the year has been. But let's not stop here. What was their greatest learning? What was the innovation that brought about because of the greatest learning? And where do we go from here? What is their expert advice to all of us? So let's see what this evening holds for us. We will go through a small presentation of the work which ECDF does, and we are very proud about it. And then we will, of course, go to our chair, Dr. Wasabi, and then, of course, to each of our panelists. So thank you everyone for joining us on Facebook Live, YouTube, and with us on this platform. And once again, my name is Simran Balani for people who are joining in just now. Give me a second before I present my screen. All right, so this is who we are. One of the participants can help me if they can see my screen very clearly.
Yes, Simran.
All right, great. So Early Childhood Development Forum, we are a part of D.N. Acharya Foundation. And we have been doing some really great work out there in early childhood development. So here's what we have been doing, and we have made our mark, especially in the pandemic. We have tried to reach each one of educators possible through our training programs, awareness campaigns, leadership programs, workshops, seminars, webinars, and recently we have done a community activity too. All right, so here it is. And of course, for more details, you can visit our website, but we have been doing a lot of one-day certificate courses. We have touched upon very, very sensitive topics of parenting in pandemic, stress management for education, and a lot. All right, and we are here to make a difference. We are doing work on the ground, and we have been doing a lot of work in Assam, and we are spreading across all over India. Of course, not only limited to India, and also in countries like Australia, UK, and America. So if you are one of the enthusiasts who wants to contribute to the cause of early childhood development, do look up for us and do become a member. And here are some amazing photos of the work which is done by Dr. Wasabi. And we are not limited only to the education part. We have done a lot of work in the flood relief also. And this is our project Naba Uday, which we did very recently on 12th November, celebrating the occasion of Children's Day. And to encourage these marginalized section children to study, a lot of study materials were given to them, stationery items, and also not limited to that, of course, a lot of teaching materials to the school. Do look up for this video and the blog that we have over the web. And yes, you can make a difference, and it starts right now, right here. Do look up for the membership invitation form. You can also type in your query on the chat, and we will send you all the info, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube. And this is how you can reach us. And what are the events that are not to be missed? We have a very, very interesting training program, a one-day certificate course, 4 C's of virtual learning, rethinking teaching online. And you would all agree, this is the subject of the year. And we all educators want to know more and more about how to be presentable online, how to teach online. So we have Shalin Ratnani right from Indonesia doing this course. And if you are one of the teachers, educators, I would request you to participate in this. And here are the registration details. And now let's see what are we doing today. Yes, we are going to talk to all our esteemed panelists, and we warmly welcome Dr. Wasabi. She's the reason we are here time and again, meeting each one of you. Priya Roy, Reshma Shah, Ashu Karla, Amrit Napal, and Ranjan Garg. When they do come to talk to you, they will, of course, introduce themselves. And I will go to Dr. Vasavi to say hello to us.
Hi, Simran, and hello, everyone. A very good evening, and welcome to this talk show on how the year had gone for an educator, the 2020. And I'm sure today is going to be a very refreshing chat show where everybody's going to talk about their experiences in this year and what were the learnings and what is the plan ahead. So I very much look forward to hearing all of you. And yes, I think 2020 has been incredible in many ways. And yeah, now I'm ready to hear all of you guys. And I welcome everyone to this talk show once again. Over to you, Simran.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vasavi. And yes, let's start the show and let's start our talk show as we call it. And here is what we will do. We will go to each of our esteemed panelists who will introduce themselves and who will answer a very, very tricky question of how the year has been. Yeah, and what was their 2020 like as an educator, as an individual, as a mother, as a daughter-in-law, or as a housewife, or as an individual. All right, so I start this discussion with Ashu Karla. Over to you.
Thank you, Simran, and a very good evening to all. So I'm Ashu Kalra. I'm basically an educationist. I've been into education for past more than 2 decades, for more than 20 years. And I've worked in various capacities, the last capacity being that of a principal, basically with groups like Delhi Public School and Jaipuria School. I've handled all age groups, all levels, been with children through and through. And I hail from Varanasi, UP. Now, coming to the year gone by, basically, people were like, when it started, it came all of a sudden. It was like a roller coaster ride. So things coming in at any point of time, uncertainty, 360 deviation, unrealized plans, many things taken away, much of isolation, leading to mental trauma as well. That's what everybody was talking about in the initial months. But when we think of the positive, it brought in a lot of learning. I think it brought in a lot of learning for all of us. The new normal was in itself something very new, which made the world really small and connections very easy. It helped us to connect. It's basically the year gone by, if I remember, the initial months, month of April, when it all started, my teacher said, ma'am, I don't even know how to use Zoom. I mean, they were young girls, most of them, because they weren't used to these platforms. So teaching them online to take online classes was in itself a very big challenge. And we used to be up till midnight. And I still remember initially those WhatsApp, messages coming that one hand you have the laptop, you're trying to work on it, and then you're in the kitchen trying to handle some other thing, doing multitasking. It was the real truth which was happening, I believe, in every house. And hats off to the teachers who've done this job, and everybody rather. Everybody has been doing this, toiling hard to learn. So it's been actually, that is why I said, a roller coaster ride. And after Ebola, after SARS, it was Corona. So now that we came across and we've now learned to live in the new normal. I think that's the greatest learning. And they say, there's a very old saying that there's a good in every evil. So let's look at the good, let's look at the positive part, and let's look at connecting with children in this manner in future also, because we don't know till when it is here with us and till when it is to stay.
All right, thank you so much, Ashu, for drawing attention to this. And I would now move to Amrit. Amrit, why don't you introduce yourself and talk about the year gone by?
Hello, everyone. A very good evening to all. My name is Amrit Nagpal, and I am the head of preschool and ECC Ed at Birla Open Minds. We are a Mumbai-based company, and we have more than 120 schools all over India. The year gone by has been an absolute commotion, a wonderful commotion. It's like I'm living a fairy tale because I'm an early years educator, so I always connect everything to a wonderful fairy tale. Why a fairy tale? Because a fairy tale is full of commotion, full of ups and downs. You've got the wicked godmother, so we've got Corona being the wicked thing over here, and yet everything ends on a fantastically wonderful note. By the end of 2020, you realize that you really needed that break from our own hectic schedules. And whether I'm a early years educator, it's been wonderful reinventing myself, redefining the needs of educators in the new normal. 2020, I think the NEP 2020 that came in gave a good kickstart to most educators all across India and had something to look forward to. So that was one of the biggest ray of sunshine. As an individual, it has been amazing learning experience, because I don't think in my entire professional life, or in so many years, I have ever done something for myself peacefully. And Corona gave me that chance, to sit down. I started cooking a lot for my family. I learned how to make new dishes. I got more into fitness. And I think that was a bigger learning experience, that, we don't take care of our bodies, we don't take care of our minds. And it is so important that before we tell that to somebody else, like we talk about it to children, before that, let's look at ourselves first. Let's keep ourselves more fitter. Let's do a lot of yoga to keep our minds more calmer. So 2020 has been a wonderful story, wonderful fairy tale that is about to come to an end. And I think we are now going back to the normal that we were living in. And I am not liking it, because I have been so in love with this new normal that we have now.
Wow, Amrit, imagine ripping up Corona with a fairy tale. Not bad. Thank you very much for throwing this positive, very positive insight. And I truly believe, for most of us, the goals that we were going to achieve just skyrocketed when it was Corona. It was like as if the time is running out and we have to accomplish so much. I mean, it was like it was a cruel shock, but at the same time, I started piling up with goals. Acha, mujhe ye bhi karna hai, I have to do this also, I have to do this also. Yeah, good man, Amrit. And I moved to Priya. Priya, let's hear it from you.
Thank you, Simran. Hello, everyone. I'm Priya Roy. I'm coming to everybody from Trivandrum, right down in the south of India, almost touching the edge of India, the beautiful, very close to Kanyakumari. That's where I'm from. For almost 20 years, I was a hospitality professional. I was 18 years as a chef and 2 years as a hotel manager. And owing to my family situation where my son required a little more time and attention, and a hotelier cannot give it give it at any cost, so I shifted to early childhood development. And for me, my early childhood development teacher has been my son. He's the one who has trained me. And one thing what I've learned from him as my trainer is everything a child does or is taught to do is education. And it's been so fantastic to watch and bring up my own child that when he started growing a little more, I started missing the other children. So then I decided to go into preschool education. And I have my own facility here in Trivandrum. We call it TKP. And so I run my own organization from there. And it's a very brand new, I would say we are in the 4th year of operation, 3 years of learning and growing. And 4th year, which is 2020, January, February was blast. I was like looking forward. Everybody was making inquiries for the new year. They wanted to enroll their child. They've been hearing so much about this out-of-box learning approach that we are having, because here what we do is we don't do anything. We let the child expose, experience, and learn. And the way we grow about training them is from there onwards. So people have, in these 3 years, I've made a name for myself in the city, that people were really inquiring, and I was really looking forward to, 2020 is going to be the year that it's going to be my business year where I'm going to get my money back. I'm going to be, wow, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. We're going to add so many more rooms. We're going to bring so many more toys. All those things were there. And then March happened. March, we were going to wrap up the year, and they said, shut the school. So we did. It was okay. I mean, initially we were like, okay, summers are coming, so slowly we'll come into summer. So April, May, the summer camp didn't happen, which we were looking forward to, which I was still okay with, because it was after 3 years of getting a 3 months of vacation was perfectly fine, because I still was looking forward to June, to starting school, and everything going perfectly fine, because there are so many inquiries, so many people I can fall back on. But June was reality. June told me as an entrepreneur, hey, Priya, you're living in a bubble. This is not what it is. So you need to come back. You need to get back into your shoes and rethink your whole situation as to how you're going to run the school. Now, for me, I had 27 kids who had already enrolled, who had paid their fees before the school shut. So it was an obligatory situation for me to ensure that my school reopened for at least those 27 kids. And I had to come up with ways, because I can't get those kids home. And everybody was talking about an online scenario. And I was not sure whether an online was going to work with such small children, whether it is going to be, my son who's in standard 7, if he's going for online, I can understand. But because he's been, he knows how to operate a computer, he knows how to sit, he's been playing some games, he's been doing something. So he's educated himself with the operation of a computer. And how do you make a child who's running all around the school to suddenly confine to a chair and talk to the child? That was the biggest challenge. And I wasn't sure if I would be able to deliver it. So because my teachers were not confident themselves when I was bringing up the idea to them.
Okay, sorry
So
to interrupt.
yes,
Sorry.
sorry.
You have 30 seconds to wrap up this segment.
Okay, fine, sure. Okay, so what I did was we formulated a online program where I took over the mantle myself, and I started doing the online classes myself. So 3 months, parents were not happy. I mean, because they were not sure what was going to happen. But 4th month onwards, it's been a rolling time. I've been loving every single month of it. And if new normal is going to happen and normal is coming back, giving up of online learning is something that I'm going to really miss. That's one thing that I've learned. I love my kids like this. They sit.
Wow. Yeah,
they
see, you don't have to
it's-
give up the online learning, because online learning is going to stay with early childhood education. And that is something very interesting. I'm putting it in Dr. Wasavi's ear that we need to talk about in the new year, that this online learning is not going anywhere. So the blended learning, the so-called blended learning is
Yes.
going to stay even in early childhood years. And how we will do it, time will tell. But thank you so much for sharing this with us, Priya. And you look very happy and enthusiastic.
Yes,
And
of course.
and
I'm happy with online learning.
awesome. So this has been a good year for you then, except
Yeah,
for the month of June.
monetary wise, I wouldn't say much, but
Yeah, but still,
I'm
you're
full.
happy.
Yeah, I'm
You're
full.
happy. Right? I move on to Reshma. Reshma, over to you, please.
Thank you, Simran. Warm greetings from Guwahati to everybody. I'm Reshma Shah. I belong to Guwahati. I studied here in a convent and then moved to New Delhi, JNU, where I did my master's and my MPhil. And I got into education in an e-learning company first. And that's how I got to know what education really was, where I had to design courseware. And then from there, I also worked on projects for special children. Then when I came back to Guwahati, that's when I got into early childhood education. I started an education NGO where we set up a school for children who could not afford to go to branded schools, because everybody aspires to get good quality education, and our purpose was to fill that gap. And it's been the 6th year, and we've impacted more than 100 families that way. And apart from this, I also do teacher training and other life skill training workshops. And it's a good way to get to visit different institutes, meet different people, and I enjoy what I do. I'm a mother of 4 kids, which is quite a rarity now. I have 2 daughters. One is in class 11 and one is in class 7. They are in a boarding school, but they've been with me for the last 9 months, which has been a blessing. And I am also a mother to twin 7-year-old boys. So you can imagine they're as different as chalk and cheese. And it's like learning how to be a mother all over again with them, because boys are a very different ball game altogether. And about the year that's gone by, initially I was a little disappointed because my sons, they were moving from a preschool to a bigger school. So they had this entire graduation ceremony planned out and they had rehearsed for it. And it had to be cancelled because restrictions were coming in. And the school finally decided not to have the function. And then, of course, as a mother, I was very happy because that meant I didn't have to wake up early in the morning, 5 o'clock, pack their tiffins, drag them out of bed. But later on, after a month of binge watching of television and movies and whatnot, and children also having a blast of a time, you realize that you need to have some discipline at home because everybody was in the holiday mode for about 2.5 months. And that's when you also start thinking, I have to look after my budget preschool, and that's a school where children, their parents also cannot afford laptops for online learning. So we had to figure out different ways of doing that. So that was a professional challenge altogether. Surprisingly, towards the end, this is really something that I realized, I think, day before yesterday, after having done a workshop, virtual workshop on creative writing. Uh, Work started coming in the during July, August, because of some of the seminars that we were doing online. So that was really something I had never anticipated. I thought this was a temporary stopgap arrangement, but it's good to know that there are different avenues we need to open our minds, and we need to also create opportunities where there are none. So overall, in a nutshell, I would say it's been quite a different year, a very different year, one that will stay with us. It will also stay in the minds of our children for a very long time, and they will talk about it for years to come. So that's about it from my end, and looking forward to an exciting session.
Thank you so much, Reshma. And again, it's a great experience being mother of four, having them home, and in a month realizing something has to change. Vacation cannot go forever. All right, great. And I move to our educator artist, I call her, Rimjim Garg. And Rimjim Garg, over to you. Talk about yourself and talk about the year that has been.
Thank you, Simran. Thank you. Hi, everyone. So my name is Rimchim. I'm an engineer turned artist. So yes, I was an engineer. I worked in IT sector for more than 5.5 years. I was a business analyst. But somewhere, while you are in 9 to 5 job, you want to do something for yourself. And that was my dream, actually, that, while working 9 to 5, there was something missing, and I have to overcome that. So what was that? That was art, that was painting. And I started painting again. I was into arts since childhood, but then again came back to painting when I started actually working in IT sector. So I quit my job and I became an art educator. I started my own company called Art Delight Group. We conduct painting workshops, DIY workshops all across India and international. So yeah, so I would say that this 2020 year, that this year has been great. I would say that it is a year of an opportunity. We can see as an opportunity and as a challenge, because nobody ever thought that you will get an entire year to challenge yourself, to work on yourself, and to give opportunity to others, to work for you, or to learn something from you. So I used to conduct a lot of workshops in Bangalore. I'm based in Bangalore, and I used to conduct a lot of workshops in Bangalore and all over India. But it was like I had to travel every now and then to conduct workshop here and there. But this lockdown, this year 2020 gave me an opportunity to connect with everyone at the same time. So I took it as a challenge. I took it as a challenge, and I connected with so many people, uh, even globally. So I'm really thankful to this year, actually. I mean, who would have thought that you will get a time for yourself to divide your time for yourself and for others. So yes, um, I'm thankful that I got this opportunity to connect with a lot of people and impart knowledge to my art knowledge to everyone. Yeah, thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Rimjim, for sharing this with us. And I think we all have our own stories and all have their own takes on how we we went through this year, like how were the ups and downs, and you know what, at the end of the day, I think it has been a remarkable journey. I mean, we did not do so bad after all. I mean, if we had a teacher up about looking at us, at least we would get 8 out of 10. I mean, at least that much. All right, so you know what? We move to the next segment of greatest learning and the innovation that came to us. I was reading a very nice article in the International Center for Journalists, and it was basically talking about what's the future of school, what's the future of education, and it kind of highlights the inequality in the education around the world in the last year. So in Kenya, they were trying to adapt the digital technology, but the parents were not cooperating. At the same time, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal were trying to use robots, yeah, for their educational purposes. In Japan, actually, some of the students attended their graduation ceremony because of the robots. They used robots to attend their graduation ceremonies. While Denmark and Finland adopted a methodology called as pods, where the teachers and the group of students are very restricted and limited who come during the corona time. So with this note, I move to each one of you, and I would also open the discussion as a free flow, is what was our greatest learning and how was the innovation which happened because of the greatest learning? Amrit, you can start first.
So I think as educators, as professionals, we've had to like redefine our roles and goals also. And if you really talk about the in-depth content, I think what has worked very well for us is that, especially in India, we've started realizing that what works in the content, or do we teach the children too much? Or there's too much to learn, and we've started streamlining that down. That there are certain things that you cannot do on a virtual medium, or you find it challenging to do it on a virtual medium, so you tend to streamline the process of learning and try making it to the point for the child, and at the same time having a lot of in-depth also. So I think one bigger change that I have realized is that we focus only on cognitive skills in our curriculum and academics. We don't focus on the non-cognitive skills. And at this point, let me tell you a very funny story, is that because I deal with really younger children, and we have children right from 1.5 to about 5.5, 6 years old before they get into formal schooling. And we tried to introduce a lot of home tasks for students, things that you could do at home. So we every day we would give a home task, and we would give an accumulative task with the family, so that every weekend they had to do one thing with their family involving their parents, grandparents. In case the grandparents don't live with them physically, they have to do it virtually with them. So, simpler things like connect to your grandparents, because many of the children would not connect to grandparents. Things like, let your grandmother or grandfather tell you a story virtually. And we had parents coming up and telling us, my son does not want to sleep till his grandmother or a mama does not come and tell him a story. So we would have things like that. Oh, my daughter insists on removing the clothes from the clothes rack and then putting it back on her place, and the mothers are like, I keep telling my child, oh, you're too young to do it, but my child insists on doing that. So I think what corona did was, what 2020 did was, that we learned these skills and we tried to impart these skills big time in students. And I think this was one of the biggest innovations that we could do right at the early years, right at the early stage. I think the kind of interactions that are going on now between the teachers and the students and the parents, the teachers and the student, because it's like a trio. We're moving in a triangle. Like the three of us can't do without each other, whether it's the educator, the parent, and the student. And I think the most beautiful part about 2020 is that I think. I think with respect to the early years education, or with respect to any sector of education in our country, parents have realized that this is not an easy task what we do, and I
Yes.
think teachers have earned a lot more respect than they have been getting in the previous years. We come from a country where we have educators who are treated as gurus, and with the kind of respect, and then we had a change with the British curriculum, the Britishers came, we got colonized, the education system had a big change. And I think now we are slowly going back to our roots, and understanding what we did was so apt.
Well, Amrit, yes, I agree and I appreciate your optimism. But now the time we are in, parents are partners in education. I mean, teachers cannot do it alone. But I have to take a minute and appreciate teachers around the world, because we have just like scaled up big time from. So imagine we were in education. We never thought that we will have to come online. There were no solutions made. There were no teacher trainings happening, right? We never thought. We always thought the way of the schooling system and one lesson plan to another, one period to another, that's how the life is going to be. But this time taught us, like, you know what? You were too relaxed. So get going and, innovate something. So thanks for sharing that. And I move to Ashu. Ashu, what is your greatest learning and innovation?
Yeah, greatest learning. Actually, I would like to elaborate a little on that. Basically, we've been running behind success all these years. Maybe success not just in terms of money, in terms of recognition, your work being recognized, and then in materialistic also, of course. So this year, the greatest learning for me has been you really do not need much to live. Life can be very simple, can be still happening, and can be really nice and good for you. It can be sweet. So it has taught me to devote more time to self. I actually could now realize my role as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter-in-law, because till now it used to be coming anytime, coming back as the head of the institution, like coming back home late in the evenings, leaving the things. I didn't even realize what a family was till 2019. It was 2020 that made me realize my relationships, my family, and spending time on self as well, learning for self. So the world is really small, you don't need much to live in this world. So, and the most positive thing, that we learned how to make the earth a happier place. I mean, till the lockdown period, with no cars, restriction on movement of vehicles, movement of people on road, I could, see those sparrows and the birds back in my balcony chirping, which, had been missing for long. The air quality index had improved in that period. So the earth used to, appear to me as, a very smiling and a very green earth. We had made earth also a very lively place. As for the innovation part, I, about a couple of months back, received a call from a school in Gorakhpur. Now that school was planning to turn into an e-school, the first school in India who wanted to turn into e-school and take up that modus as well. So that's innovation, actually, I feel. And there are many schools and preschools in India. Even I am planning one, preschools that are going to be online in the near future. Because I feel that
So,
parents still,
yes,
hello, parents
yes,
still would, have hesitation in sending their little ones to school. And they've
yes,
now got a little tuned. So maybe we'll
yes,
have to work that out as an alternative, as an
yes,
innovation in
yes,
education. So that's
absolutely.
from my end.
Absolutely, Ashu. So well said. As I said, this online medium is here to stay. Yes, a lot of experts are saying online is not the only education. Yes, I do understand. Zoom is not the education, but it has become a part of the education if it is combined very nicely with the asynchronous activities, especially for the children. I go to Priya quickly. And Priya, what is your take on what was your greatest learning? We know you did a remarkable job in June. And what was your innovation? I know it, but I will hear it from you.
Uh, my greatest learning, I'll come to learning, I'll go back to my innovation a little later. My greatest learning that I've had in this time is that children are extremely adaptable, and they can even be molded even if it's through a screen, through your computer screen. You don't need to be physically present to mold your child. If you're able to convey, if you're able to connect with them, they will listen to you. That is something that the children have taught me. The way they come every morning. The morning, apparently at home, it's a chaos. They have a class at 10:30 or 11:30. From 9 o'clock, they're like, Mama, when is Priya ma'am coming? When is Priya ma'am coming? When is Priya ma'am coming? My Priya ma'am will come. I have to wear this dress. I have to do that. Because they want to be there with me, and they want to, and whatever I tell them is a gospel. Even if it's on, it used to be there in school. Okay, my Priya ma'am told me to do this. Earlier I used to be something like somewhere where parents used to, I was like, the Rakshashi for the, the Ashura for the parent. I will tell Priya ma'am, if you don't do this, I'll tell Priya ma'am. Today, it's not that way. They see who Priya ma'am is because they see me on screen also. They see the way I interact. And they've become, so they call me up and say, ma'am, what happened, ma'am? We're not able to connect through today. Is there any issues? Should we come in for a later class? I'm like, no, I sent a message out yesterday saying that there is no class today. Oh, today's Saturday. Forgot, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. That because they were craving. Even like today, for example, I had a paper boat, how to make a paper boat on a rainy day class. Parents have forgotten. I had parents, grandparents, and children sitting through my paperboard class and making paperboards. So that's the kind of learning that is happening today, and that is the kind of connection that we're getting into. When it comes to innovation, I would talk about personally innovating myself. Is I am a person who runs away from anything other than my phone. Okay, I will not do anything more than my phone. So for me, it was a total learning. I've evolved as a person who makes videos, who conducts live talk shows like this, and I've evolved as a person. That is the innovation which I've given myself. I've even started a YouTube channel for kids. I would never have even thought about it. In fact, yesterday I had somebody from a very well-known school in Trivandrum. It's one of the poshest schools in Trivandrum. Somebody from there called me up and said, ma'am, we haven't seen your video. I think the last one you uploaded was last month. This month you've not put in any video. My children are asking me for it. So I didn't know that, the reach had gone so much. People were looking forward for these videos because there was a connect. I was able to connect to people. And that is the kind of innovation that I have learned and adapted myself to. So it's a learning for me and a growing for me.
Amazing, amazing. And see, this is like a total transformation. Somebody who wouldn't even, look beyond the phone has a YouTube channel which is going very well. So it is like, and see, this makes us feel good also. Yeah, innovation may not be just in the education field that we are, but could be beyond also. I go to Rimjim. Rimjim, what is your greatest learning for the year? And what was your innovation?
So Simran, I feel that this year I learned that we have to adapt whatever it comes. We have to adapt according to the situation. Nobody have ever thought that we will have the entire year in which you will have to sit at home and you have to do it everything from home. So what I thought is even if the situation is you have to sit at home and you have to do your work, you have to adapt to the situation. You have to find out a way where you can connect to your people, how you have to connect to the people, and what different ways are there to reach out to more number of people. So like I used to conduct, as I said, I used to conduct a lot of physical workshops, offline workshops, where people, they used to come, they used to sit with me, and it was a fun activity where they used to paint along with me. So it was like a get together. People, they come, socialize, and drink and eat food, and then along with that they paint. That how our activity used to be. But now online, how can you do it online? You just have to there's no such social activity that can be done online. So what we thought is, if we can't go for a physical workshop, of course, so online we are going to do fun, we are going to interact more, we are going to socialize over online. So what we do is, we every time when we start a session, we ask everyone to dance a little bit, to sing a song, so that the environment, even in the social even in the online workshop, it is fun, it is people can know each other. So we have a small introduction in the beginning, so that people can know each other, even from their even if they are not from the same state, or from the different places. Innovation, coming to innovation, I feel that when we, like, say for example, for my group, what I'd say, we have to reach out to more number of people, and art is something that people have taken great interest during this lockdown. So like everyone has started giving themselves some me time, and they have started giving time in art. So now a lot of people, they, as the interest is going, we have to come up with new ideas so that people can learn more and more things. So our innovation was like to introduce it to new art forms, and we have started providing kits, all the material to their home. Like, so they don't have to go out anywhere. They can just sit at home. They can order kits, and they can make it along, along with us during the session. Another innovation was within me, I'll say, because I never ever thought that I'll challenge myself to, go out and make my YouTube channel as Priya's told. Like, I never thought it, to be honest, because when you're working day and night, and when you are extremely into something, you don't get time for yourself. So I think, yeah, this 3-4 months, they gave me time. Like, I, whatever the goals which I thought for maybe next 5 years, I started jot downing everything, and I started making more goals that I have to do this, I have to do that, and actually I implemented that. So that was my greatest innovation.
Awesome, Ranjan. And supplying the art kit to the people who wanted to learn was the greatest thing you could have done,
Yes.
especially in the lockdown. I have seen pictures of your kit. So,
Can I add something here?
yes, please, Ashu, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, with the very little ones, what we tried as innovation for the art class, we made them create secondary colors. That's how what we call real life connect. So we asked them to sit with the three basic colors, mix colors, and create a new color. So that was kind of innovation in learning and invention for those children, which will be lifelong and it'll stay with them. I just thought I'll share this as well.
Sure. Thank you so much for sharing. So before I go to Reshma, when my downtime in April was, I was not this perky in April, trust me, and nowhere in May also. And I thought, why not I just keep populating my goals until it becomes too overwhelming. And I started populating my goals one after the other. And I used to wake up in the morning and I used to think it is so overwhelming. So my day used to just go in sorting those goals to see what was achievable and what was not, or what I could do. So I think this was my innovation. I wanted to just surpass my this downwards thinking and get to my overwhelming goal list. Anyways, I go to Reshma. Reshma, what was your greatest learning and innovation, please?
Yeah, so thanks, Imran. Greatest learning, actually, it's not one. There have been a couple of learnings, realizations, both as a mother and as a professional. As a mother, as a person, just like Ashu Kalra had said, that you are always so busy trying to meet deadlines, and especially if you're managing things and you have to take care of you're mostly in the firefighting mode. You really don't get time to spend with the family. So even though you're working flexible hours, it doesn't work like that. You're mentally not really switched off. So this forced break that we had to take from work, or going physically to attend conferences or presenting workshops, and that forced us to reset our own dynamics in terms of relationships. I think that really helped me because, like I said, my daughters were with me for the last 9 months, and they're teenagers. So for me, my conversations with them have really taken on very deeper meaning, and I'm connecting with them at a very different level, more as a friend, a mentor, as a mother when I need, and I need to be a mother. Um, so that's really been something which I treasure, cherish, and professionally, the greatest learning has been that we really need to be prepared for any eventuality. I mean, this is not the end. Situations like this can come up later.
Yes.
So we must, I think, first few months, most of us were, sort of in a limbo. We were in the denial mode. We were just looking at the TV, wondering what is happening. But later on, I think most of us got around to it. We accepted. We also realized how privileged we are to be
Yes.
where we are, where we could afford to, go through a lockdown, survive a lockdown of 6 to 8 months, and still be here today to talk about it.
Very true.
Yes,
So
and
well
the
said.
third learning, and this is something that is very close to my heart, is that fear that we had of losing our near and dear ones. That was very real, very, very real, especially when, your own family members had the virus, and you feel helpless. You can't go meet them. You can't do anything except, just send across stuff maybe, or just talk on the phone. And those days, that's when you really realize, what is your priority in life. I think that was like a reality check for almost all of us. And in terms of innovation, I cannot lay claim to, certain technological innovations, because I was dealing with a different set of students and parents. For them, it was a big challenge, for us as well. But I think we took it easy. We didn't put too much pressure on the children or the parents. They were all, one smartphone for the entire family. So, of course, if the father or the mother is out or working, or they're busy, or at the shop, then you can't have live classes or get them to do stuff. And also, they're not very conversant in English. So we had to go switch back to the mother tongue, talk to them, send audio instructions for the parents as well in the mother tongue, in Assamese, in Hindi, so that the parents could understand the instructions and then instruct their child on what is to be done. So that way we use more of audio instructions, because they couldn't read instructions in English. So that was one innovation which helped us to, at least meet some of our pedagogical objectives.
Yes, absolutely.
But
And
it's
yes.
been an amazing year, and so much learning that it really sometimes it just hits you.
Yes, absolutely. And like how I tell my little ones in the class, can we clap for ourselves? We've done such a
Yes, definitely.
yes, I tell my little ones to clap for themselves. Anyway, so I think this is brilliant, and I see some of our audience member here. So we are opening for Q&A as we move at the same time to our last segment. So the last segment is going to be we coming up as an expert advisors, and what would be the advice that we would like to give it to our fellow educators, fellow female friends, fellow parents, whoever you would like to address. So what would be the advice, message that you would like to give them? Because this time, this is a very unpredictable time, and it is not going away very soon. I mean, there was a lot of buzz going about vaccine, and I'm all optimistic about it, but for me this is still yet to go. I mean, I'm not very optimistically seeing schools opening up in June and offices opening up in June. We are still going to be walking through that thin line. So while we are here, while we are in this and things are opening up, what is the message that we are giving to people out there, since we have this platform to talk to so many of them? So Amrit, start with you, please.
Yeah, I think one message that I would like to give all the educators is that always have an open mind to reinvent, redefine yourself. Be very adaptive to adopt new learning strategies, new ideas, and always be a team player. So
Yeah.
it's like, one teacher supporting the other teacher and saying, hey, I did this, it worked for me. Why
Yeah.
don't you try something like that? So
Super.
I think that works, because as an educator, as an educator community, we have to come together. And I think most of us have. We've really stood by these tough times. And, like you said, we're still walking on thin ice. We don't know where we are headed. Speaking for certain sectors of the education strata, this is still here to stay. Parents aren't going to be very confident sending their younger ones to school. So we have to come up with something more innovative. So always have an open mind. And most importantly, be good role models, because I think children look up to us, they imitate us. And why not? Why children? I think even parents look up to us and imitate us,
Yeah, absolutely.
So because we are always made that devil and the monster, like Priya said, we are always the asura for them. And now we have these multi roles. So, we are one side the asura, one side we are the fairy godmother, and we've got multiple roles in a child's fairy tale. So we've got to stand by these roles and live up to them, not only for our young children, but also for parents who are looking up to us, because there are a lot more younger parents out there
Yes.
who have absolutely no idea how to deal with their toddlers and kindergartners at home, and or even their younger primary ones, with like the 2 year, the 6 year olds, the 7 year olds, and they're all pulling their hair out. Oh my God, school hota, so we would have just pushed them off to school. 5 hours, peace for us. So we've really got to be good role models to guide everybody, and I think that's all that I would like to say.
Amrit, I'm coming to your one of your fairy tale sessions. I have to attend that, okay? Because there's a lot of mentions of fairy tales. I have to come.
You know what's the funniest thing? I've always been an early years educator, and it took me a good 15 years to reinvent myself in telling stories. And this
Okay.
entire 2020, I have worked very hard to do that. I have reinventing myself as a storyteller, and I have gone through a lot of professional training, personal training, uh, assisting my friends who are budding storytellers, assisting them into on their YouTube channels to come up and say amazing stories for children. So and why just me? And I think when our prime minister also supports storytelling, when he off lately in the month of May or June, he came up and said, let's go back to storytelling for our students, let's go back to storytelling for our children. So I think we have a broad vision for our country, and I think storytelling works the best
Sure.
irrespective of the age group, and it's a wonderful art. And India has a lot of this art, wherever you
Yes.
go, north, south, east, west, northeast, we have this wonderful art in our country. So let's trigger this art in everybody, and let's come up
So
as
another
amazing
message, keep
storytellers.
telling stories. Yes, Amrit, absolutely. Thank you very much. So
You know,
often,
Amit, it just 1 second, Simran. Can I? Yeah, it just reminds me. When we were in school in convents, and then you wouldn't do your homework or you forgot, or maybe even in social dues, if a kid would have these imaginary tales to tell, so they would say, "Oh, he's a storyteller." Okay, and that used to be said in a very negative way. Okay, don't be a storyteller. But I think, like you said, we need to reclaim that label and make it what it truly is. So this is really great. Great, Amrit.
Thank
awesome. Thank you, Amrit. And we have last 7 minutes, and we each one of us have to give our message out there. So Rimjam, quickly over to you, dear.
Yeah. So I just want to tell everyone that, even if everything gets back to the normal, don't forget year 2020, because it was the year of learning, it was the year of opportunities, it was the year of adapting. So never forget 2020, and whatever you learned in this year, take away from this year and implement in 2021 and in future also. Also, I would suggest all the educationists to adapt to the situation, adapt to the new technologies which is coming up, because
Yes,
we
very
never
true.
know, like tomorrow it is like, this is just 1 year, tomorrow we don't even know that it will be only e-learning, or whether everything will be back to the normal till June or not. So be friendly with the technology which is coming up, and implement their learnings from this 2020.
All right, God, great, awesome. Thank you very much. Because reminding everyone to be with technology is a one very good message. Because trust me, this e-learning, this technology, this blended learning, this flipped classroom is here to stay. Trust me. All right, very quickly, Ashu, your closing statement or your message to the audience.
Maybe in one sentence, that Charles Darwin's theory of survival
Ashu, I
fittest
can't. Ashu, I'm
is,
sorry, I can't hear you. Ashu, sorry, I can't hear you.
can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, maybe you can switch
Can you
off
hear
your
me
video and
now?
maybe we can hear you better.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, is it better?
Uh,
I said in one line I can sum up. Hello?
yeah, it's little
In
bad.
one sentence.
Yes.
Oh, hello. Is it okay?
No, it is still patchy, Ashu. I'll give you a minute to correct it while I go to Reshma. Reshma, your closing thoughts?
Better?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So my message to everyone would be that the first thing is, when it comes to education, the fundamentals don't change. If you are a good teacher, you will always be a good teacher. You'll always be able to connect. Technology is an enabler, and like Jim said, if we can familiarize ourselves with it, good. And as a human being, we need to remain genuine. We also need to have that sense of responsibility and a sense of humor that's going to, take us through any situation. So that's my message to everyone.
All right, thank you, Reshma. Yes, absolutely. If we are a good teachers, we will remain a good teachers. And technology is enabler. And yes, we need to keep adapting. I think this is a very, very nice wave of good advice coming in. Priya, over to you. What do you have to say in your closing statement? Priya, you're on mute. Sorry, Priya, you're on mute.
Sorry.
No problem.
Okay. All I would like to say is, first thing is to believe in yourself. Believe you can make the difference. Have the passion in whatever you do. And if you have the passion, automatically you'll find ways and measures of executing it. And God knows what is there in 2021 or the years ahead. Always stay positive, go with the hope. Everything will fall in place. You will find your way. First thing is to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and everything else will happen.
Awesome. And what about you, Ashu? What is your statement?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Is it okay? Am I audible?
Yeah.
All right. So it's basically like Charles Darwin's theory, survival of the fittest. So we need to be proactive. We need to learn from, these surroundings, from these situations, and we need to adapt ourselves. Plus, in all this, apart from all other subjects, if we could introduce one period, maybe weekly basis, to check the socio-emotional well-being of the child, which is very important. One aspect which we've not been following in all schools on a regular basis, that is a very important aspect to be looked into. That's it.
All right, superb, sounds good. And we have loads of advice and loads of that we have shared today. And I thank each one of you for being here, for joining us, for spending your time the entire week. I think the most important commodity today is time. Even though we are online, the first thing we go and we tell our family, oh my, I have a call. So like you have a minute, just finish it in a minute, half a minute, 30 seconds, I'm gone. So I think in a scenario like this, we have been spending time together over a week, collaborating, brainstorming, going through the event flow. So I thank each one of you. For me, the closing statement is be full of gratefulness, be full of gratitude. Because if something that has taught us last year is that we have come out sane, we have come out happy, we are a very chirpy group of people. And that is when you are full of gratitude, because we had so many options to come out of the year that has gone by. So on this note, it is a wrap. Thank you so much for being with us. And we will see you soon in one of our events. Do look up our page for the events that are coming up. And if you're not a member, do become a member. We have a lot going on in 2021. Thank you everyone for being here. My name is Simran Balani and I'm signing off now. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
So much.